Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 49 Invincibles podcast with me, Glenn, Zuhom, and Mr. Positive, Callum. Callum missed out last week, but he's back again this week. We'll get his thoughts on the Europa League because we didn't really get his thoughts. And obviously, on one special player that we've signed recently. Zuhom, how are you this week?
I'm good, man. Can't wait to get going, and hopefully the win tomorrow puts us 7 points off top four. I don't know what that means for Arsenal fans, but for me, it gives me a glimmer of hope. So, yeah, I'm a hopeful man right now.
Yeah, I didn't even realize my camera was off all that time.
Yeah, I
We,
was
we,
wondering.
we, we learn every single time. We learn every single day. And Callum, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Just I was happy about the other night. You know what I mean? 2 wins on the bounce, and a surprising win against Leicester. I wasn't expecting that, so I'm happy
Yeah,
at the moment.
I did expect it. So today we'll be talking about Lamptey. We've been linked to Lamptey. Obviously, there's been a debate over Cedric and Bellerin recently. We'll talk about Luiz a bit and obviously cover the Burnley against Arsenal game. So, Callum, since you missed out last week, what have you made of Arsenal the last 10 to 14 days? Benfica game, the Europa League draw, and everything?
Do you know what? The Benfica game, I was expecting us to win. Obviously, we won, but I was thinking in my head, you know, when they'll get. Oh, I was just thinking, we did it again. We've done it again. Do you know what I mean? Where I thought we were out, and then all of a sudden, Tierney comes out of nowhere, hits that shot, and we're back in it. And then Aubameyang finally comes, you know what I mean, to our rescue like he does all the time. And a lot of our fans forget that because he may have had a bad season, but when we need him, he always pops up. And he's popped up again. He popped up again for us and shot us into the next round. Do you know what I mean? I'm so thankful for him. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I was so happy. You know,
Are you happy with the draw?
relieved. Happy with what? Sorry, the draw.
Olympiacos?
It doesn't
Yeah.
even surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised if they had like Olympiacos and they had Arsenal written at the back of it, so they knew who to pick out. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised. It's ridiculous. How can we get Olympiacos again? We just played at their stadium. We played them last season in the Europa League. That's weird, isn't it? It's a weird
Yeah.
coincidence, but I don't know. It's probably easier of the draws, in my opinion. I think we could have got, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? We could have got Milan in it. Milan, one of them. I can't remember which one did it, but we could have got one of them. We
AC.
could have got AC. AC is quite different, much more difficult than the Inter, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So even Rangers are better than them, I reckon. So I think it's a decent draw. We should win that game this time, man.
Yeah, we should win it comfortably. So, Zoom, let's get into this week's topics. So obviously, Fabrizio confirmed the other day that Arsenal have been linked with that Tariq Lamptey. Is he a guy you've had your eye on even before the links?
Yeah. I mean, I think most Arsenal fans remember him because of his debut when he came on in Arteta's first game when we lost to Chelsea 2-1. And I think he came on for Fikayo Tomori. He
Yeah,
was so difficult to contain. He was quick. He was agile. He was rapid. Oh my days. He was beating our defenders left, right, and center. He was causing a lot of havoc for our left back. I can't remember who our left back was. Probably Kieran Tierney, to be honest. But
hmm
either way, I mean, he looked so good on the ball and defensively because it was an Arsenal game. Chelsea, London Derby, repping his boyhood club. If it is, I'm assuming it is because he came from their academy. But he came in with that intensity, and it really did help them get that win. But I don't know if he helped them more than the ref did, because I'm still bitter over that result. However, overall, what we've seen him do at Brighton is very encouraging. He's the kind of right back that we need, in my opinion, at least when we're on the ball, because I feel like in comparison to maybe Cedric or Bellerin, he just offers a threat himself. Bellerin can
yeah,
be a threat on the counter. Cedric, he's not really a threat. He's just a right back. But Tariq Lamptey can make the difference in those moments on that right hand side. And I think he would be very, very good for Nicola Pepe as well, or even Bukayo Saka. Whoever is going to start on our right side, I think is going to be very good.
yeah.
I mean, statistically, we can get into it in a bit, but yeah, I've looked at him and I've actually hoped we signed him. It's just obviously he's quite short. He's 5'5". That's shorter than me, and I'm 5'6". So uh, yeah, he's not going to win your defensive aerial duels, but He seems a baller, and I think we just need that technical ability, man, more than Bellerin or Cedric offer.
Yeah, Callum, which aspect do you think he offers or attribute? Is it the pace? Is it because if it's the pace, we might as well stay with Bellerin, even though I know he's dropped off with the pace and stuff. So, which attribute do you love most in Lamptey?
He can actually cross the ball. I think he can cross the ball very well. Do you know what I mean? He can get to the byline and he can cross the ball. And we need a right back that can do what Tariq done on the other side. And he's just going to whip them balls in, good crosses into the box, them low-driven crosses, and I can see a Bowman running onto them. Do you know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? Whoever. So I'm so happy. I really want him so bad. I wanted him before we were linked with him because I'm thinking he's quick. He can defend, but he's got room for improvement. He can cross a ball. He can beat a man. He's got everything to be probably one of the best right backs in the league, in my opinion, if he's coached well.
Yeah.
And
he's 20.
He's only 20. So do you know what I mean? He's got room to improve. I'm tired of these players that have no room to improve anymore, like the likes of Bellerin. So I'll be so happy.
Glenn, can I just step in for a bit? I just want to take control of the discussion. Let's look at Bellerin and why, essentially, we're also looking at. We look at Bellerin's situation, and then we understand why we're looking at Tariq Lamptey. I think off the pitch, for example, Bellerin's turning 26 this year, and he has 2 years left on his contract. And I don't see him improving massively, to be honest, because I think he's just lost his way after that kind of injury, and he's very much a physically, I wouldn't say physically strong, but his best attributes are his physical attributes, and that's his pace. And I think he's lost that a little bit. I think he's also not just lost his overall pace, he's also lost his, the first 5 yards. He's lost that pace within the first 5 yards, in my opinion. He's just not as quick in his acceleration as he was before. But he's got 2 years left on his contract. So we have to decide where, are we going to sell him or do we extend his contract? This is that fork in the road for many clubs, and maybe not Arsenal, because we don't have a fork in the road until maybe 6 months left on your contract. That's when we start panicking. But we've seen reports coming out that he wouldn't be opposed to a new league, to a new challenge, and he would never force a move. He would respect his Arsenal's opinion on his whole situation. So if they want to sell him, he'd respect it. And I think that's just credit to him as a character, don't you think? I mean, despite the drop in performances, he's still been such an amazing Arsenal man, don't you think, Callum?
I don't. I just remember when going to that university and slagging off all the fans. Do you know what I mean? That's what I remember. I believe you're meant to be a professional. You're a professional footballer earning 100 grand a week. When he doesn't deserve it, for one, because he can barely play football. Yeah, and he slagged us off as fans. And I don't forget this. I don't forget the time when he slagged us off, and he's a poor crap footballer. Now, for me, you meant to act professional. You meant to act like a role model. You meant to act these ways. This is how you meant to be as a professional, playing for the biggest club in the world. That's what I expect. Yeah, I expect you to play football as well, but you don't do that. I expect you to take a throw-in. You can't do that. Do you know what I mean? I expect you to play a 1 yard pass. You can't do that. This is why I'd want him out.
So statistically, I was going to add, I have a chart here, and credit to The Athletic and Smarter Scout for releasing this content. But essentially what Smarter Scout does, it's like a FIFA overall rating. You guys both play FIFA, I'm sure. Our audience, there's many people that play FIFA. So they rate all the things that you do. When you look at his passing, progressive passing, his mark out of 99 is 4. Do you know what that means? Progressive passing is the amount of times you pass the ball further than 10 meters. Bellerin doesn't pass the ball. As a professional footballer, Glenn, he doesn't pass the ball farther than 10 meters. That's not good enough. Forget forward, because it's weird, because his link-up volume play is very, very high. It's at 93. But don't you guys still think that even with his link-up, we could still use a more technically gifted player, and our link-up play down the right-hand side will be even much better?
You put Cedric there, he looks 10 times better than Bellerin. And Cedric is not
Exactly.
the best player in the world, is he?
No. And the thing is, we're in a position where we
Yeah.
have to make a decision, Glenn, because Cedric is 30. He's no long-term solution for our right. We signed him as a squad player, and I think that's all he will remain, despite Bellerin,
Yeah.
despite whoever comes in, he will still be the second backup. So
Yeah.
statistically, his defensive numbers aren't very good either. I mean, they're comparable, honestly, to Tariq Lamptey. Ball recoveries and interceptions, they gave him a mark of 35 out of 99. When I look at disrupting opposition moves, 32 out of 99. When you look at his defensive intensity, that's quite high, but I think that's his pace. Defensive intensity means how you can press someone, how quickly you can press, and you know what I mean? That's 75.
Yeah.
But then if you look at his defending impact, 21, and his aerial duels quantity is 51. Like, that's just not good enough, man.
Yeah,
That doesn't
and
surprise me.
I know what people are saying, but I usually didn't agree with people who thought Bellerin was as bad as Kolasinac or Mustafi or Socrates. I don't think he
Oh,
was
no.
that bad as those people. I think there's that level of Deadwood totally, and then there's that next level of Bellerin and Shaka who we want to leave, but I wouldn't mind if they stayed on the bench as replacements. Not, I really wanted to sell the likes of Mustafi, but I really never say they want some Bellerin gone immediately or Shaka gone immediately. Yes, he's definitely lost a pace in the last few years. I was trying to find, we were talking about Cedric versus Bellerin the other day. I was trying to find the photos and everything. I'll try and get them on. So for me, I don't think it's that bad. I want to see this Bellerin on screen. That Bellerin who bombs forward and gets himself in the box and tries to do something in the box. He was the man of the match against Man U at Old Trafford that day. He was the better player. He won us the penalty. He was driving forward. He was getting himself in the box. He's not. I know what you're saying about passing sometimes backwards. Sometimes he takes the easier pass of passing to Ceballos instead of trying the ball to Lacazette or to Aubameyang or to something like that. So I know what you're saying. We could do better on that side. But Callum, Lamptey this season has been injured 3 times. Do we really want another injury-prone player at fullback at Arsenal?
Oh, I would prefer to take a risk on him than keep Bellerin, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? I really think Bellerin hinders us. You know, there's a lot of teams that just attack our right side because Bellerin can't defend. Do you know what I mean? He's shown this season. Do you know what I mean? We've been exposed down that right side so often where you just know. I see Bellerin on the team sheet. I'm like, to see Bellerin and Holding, I'm just like, oh, not a joke. Do you know what I mean? I see it. It's just, and we need someone that is technically good on the ball on the right side, that can actually play. Do you know what I mean? That can play the ball forward more than he plays it back. He plays the ball 9 times out of 10 back more than he plays it forward. And even if there's the easy pass forward, he'll still play it back because he's too cautious. He knows his ability. He knows that people be on his back if he played a misplaced pass. He does that a lot anyway. But if he does that more often, play the forward pass, he would misplace it more often. Then people be on his back still, and I don't think he can take it.
There was actually a tweet I saw when I think last week when people noticed. I think they noticed across 2 games, the Man City game and the game before that in the Premier League, and also the Benfica games. There was someone who tweeted, he's like, he was just asking a question. Does it look like Bellerin doesn't want to pass the ball to Pepe or Odegaard? And Odegaard would find himself in a position where, he would find himself in a position where he's in between the fullback and the central midfielder of the opposition team in that kind of position. So if you pass it to him, he's now in a pocket of space and he can find a threaded pass to one of our forward players. But that didn't happen. And the thing is, you ask about his injuries, Glenn, but remember just recently the Sky Sports News chucked this, they removed this report. Days lost from players with injuries and illnesses this season. And I know this is in particular performance of the clubs this season, and that obviously has many external factors. But I think it's noteworthy that Arsenal were second lowest, just after Chelsea. They had 354 minutes due to injuries. Players were out for a total of 354 minutes because of injuries. So our defense, our physio department, I think, is one of the best in the Prem. regardless of the stat. I think it's been improving. And I think look at our squad right now. Who's the only player that's injured? I think it's Emil Smith Rowe, and that's only a minor injury, and that's only because of the last game. So in terms of injuries, maybe he might be injury prone, but I mean, he is only 20. I think it's worth the risk.
So Callum, you'd pay 30 million for a risk?
Yes, 100%.
Well, Callum, I have to list out his stats in terms of the smarter scout data. And defensively, you won't be too impressed. Ball recoveries and interception is 42. Disrupting opposition moves, 49. His defensive intensity is higher than Bellerin at 83. And his defensive impact is 49. And obviously his aerial duels quantity is 37. That's not going to be too high. But the thing is, it's all about what he does. And because of his defensive, like I still have hope with his defensive ability. I mean, look at what Bellerin has been part of a very strong defensive performance from Arsenal this season. We have one of the best defenses in the league, and despite all the disorganization when we were in that losing run between November and December, or maybe October and December, we've been very good defensively. And I think we have to give credit to Bellerin, a little bit of credit, because he was part of that defensive organization. So good for him. We still need more, but Tariq Lamptey, if Bellerin can improve defensively, and he has similar stats to Bellerin defensively, then his attacking output would only be recognized and felt even more, because we want to improve offensively. We don't have any issues defensively, right? So I think that's why it makes sense. If you look at his carry and dribble volume, it's 70 out of 90. Link-up play, 65. Ball retention ability, 74. But he's not as good as you'd like in terms of his progressive passing. Those 10-meter passes, that might be due to system. We can't rule that out. But he scores a 22 compared to Bellerin's 4, which is appalling. So yeah.
But I think he's 20 and Bellerin 26. He could be coached and be molded into playing a certain way and playing how we want to play. Do you know what I mean? Bellerin cannot be taught anymore. You can't. There's a saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and you can't teach him anything new, because I don't think he has the brains to learn anything new. That's why we have to get rid and get someone else that is a sponging information from Arteta, or do you know what I mean, or coaches. Do you know what I mean? He's such a good man that he can coach him into being the right back that we need for our system.
Yeah.
And that could be good better defensively, and also be better even on the offensive side of things. So that's why I'll have Lamptey.
I think what Callum's trying to say is that the potential, I know the price might seem high, but the potential is worth the risk, in my opinion. At 20, I think it's worth it. What do you think, Glenn?
I would first. I'll always say, because I know a lot of people always say no to Bellerin. I put up a poll in the community tab the other day, Cedric or Bellerin. I think from 1.3k votes, I think there was like 90% for Cedric. I was like, wow, is that like convincing? Okay, because for me, I do think Bellerin is better in a back five. I've always thought all the right backs and left backs we've had are better in a back five. That's Kolasinac, Niles, Cedric, Bellerin. I always thought all of them are better in a back five. I wouldn't even be comfortable with Lamptey in a back four, especially because of, as you've mentioned, Zoom, those crosses. He's very short. And if you get a team that has a tall person at the far post, we're in trouble. So I even do think Lamptey would be better in a back five where he has that protection from the third centre back.
Very good point, because he's actually more a right wing back. When he was in the Chelsea academy and he was coming through, he was more a right wing back than a right back. And I think from the reports you read online, if I'm not mistaken, his best performances have come when Brighton have played in a back five. But still, I mean, we're not talking about, a Maitland-Niles who's 23 and you're trying to coach him to play as a right back. You're not talking about a Cedric. You're talking about a player with a lot of potential. And we believe, certainly you believe, Glenn, I don't know about Callum, but certainly you believe that Mikel Arteta is a coach that can get the most out of a player in terms of positional tactics and defensive organization. I mean, he's done it with our whole back four, back five. So I think he's worth the risk, to be honest. Would you have
Let me
any
show you
other
guys.
alternative?
We'll come to that. I wanted to show you guys something about Bellerin. I couldn't get the formation thing, but I could get some few things where I've always liked Bellerin. I know it's lost of the pace and everything, but this was a couple of years ago when we played Chelsea and we beat them 3-0 and Conte had to change the formation. That time we beat them 3-0 at the Emirates with Sanchez and Ozil playing very well. In that position, Bellerin was trying to chase back Pedro. Pedro was very, very pacey, very, very pacey. In that position, I definitely prefer Bellerin ahead of Cedric. Running, chasing back to a person who's attacking, like counter-attacking the likes of Rashford, Sterling, because Bellerin can get the ball like he did that day, like that. He actually got the ball and made the tackle. In that position, I definitely prefer Bellerin to Cedric, to Niles, maybe even to Tierney, because he's very, very good at coming back. Maybe not one-on-one defending like against, recovery. He's not like good in one-on-one defending like against a Sterling, as Callum always mentions, like the likes of Grealish ripping apart Holding and Bellerin on that side. That's okay. Also, a couple of years ago, remember Bafetimbi Gomez running us apart every single time.
Yes, I was actually going to mention.
There was this game. Yeah, there was that game where Bellerin was like, you wouldn't, if someone told you that Bellerin caught up to him from that position, you wouldn't believe it. But he actually did. Like, he chasing back. Obviously, Czech helped because Czech is probably one of the best goalkeepers in one-on-one saves and everything. So Bellerin actually chased back Bafetimbi Gomez and reached for the ball. Like, let me look for that. So he actually reached and made the tackle. He saved it. So for me, he's very good at that, like a recovery run. So that's what I'm saying, back five, not a back four.
Well, I mean, come on, Glenn, your best moments, or maybe this is just one thing you're choosing, is when he's off the ball and he's now lost that pace. You certainly won't see him do that anymore.
No, I don't think he's lost that pace. I've seen him do that twice this season. I can't remember the actual games, but I think it's one of between Wolves and Aston Villa where he chased back and made the tackle, and I was like, that is very good. I think it was also against United when Gabriel made a tackle against Matic, and he also made one, I think, against Pogba in that game. So yes, he's lost a bit of pace, but I'm just saying, yes, defensively you can't have every attribute. There's some that know how to head the ball away. There's some who know how to attack, like the likes of Maguire. There's some who know how to tackle, like Wan-Bissaka. Some know how to cross, like Trent. So I feel like Bellerin is better, like at recovery runs and stuff. But yeah, Cedric overall is the better defender because of positioning, technique, corners, free kicks, and everything. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't agree with Callum. Like, I don't think he's completely useless, and we need to sell him today for 5 million. I don't think so. So yeah, personally, I wouldn't pay 20 million for Lamptey. To answer your question about alternatives, I'd probably try someone like Aarons or something. I know they're about to get promoted, so his price would go up. I think Norwich will come back next season as well. So I'd probably go for him other than Lamptey because his injuries are too much for me.
Well, so are we in agreement at the very least on Bellerin being sold? Because we have a decision to make now in terms of contract.
Now, you know what I'd actually do? I'd actually sell Niles and keep Bellerin. That's what I'd do. I'd have Bellerin as the backup.
And then what about Cedric? I mean, that has a knock-on effect.
Yeah, but like right now, Cedric, as you said, is 30. Don't expect him to be here for that long, and he can also be helping in like left back covering and stuff. Yeah, but we don't have a left back right now, a person who can cover left back and right back. So I'd definitely sell Niles and keep both Cedric and Bellerin as of now. So even if we don't get a right back, I don't think it's a disaster. That's what I'm saying. So I don't think it's a disaster. I don't think that's the main position where we need to get a player. I think we need a backup left back. I think we need a central midfield. I think we need a backup striker, sell Nketiah, sell a couple more in front there. So that's what I'd do. Callum, I know would sell Bellerin. I know Zoom would sell Bellerin.
Yeah, I would. But Callum, would you say that Bellerin or a first team right back is a priority this summer?
Yeah.
Because we're not Man City, mate.
I know, but I think getting a new right back, just getting a few quality players and just we've got Partey, so we've got a quality player in midfield, yeah. We've got a quality player left back, Tierney, yeah. Obviously, we've got a bomber. He's played a bad season, but we've got a quality striker. You read that for now, yeah. We need a quality right back. We need someone that can cross a ball, that can be coached, that is technically better than Bellerin. Bellerin is
Callum,
not technically.
Callum,
Yeah.
I hear you, and I fully agree with you. That's the thing. I fully agree with you. But what's more a priority? A first team right back or a squad left back, a second left back, for example?
I don't know. I'll honestly, because obviously Tinney's injury prone, I get that as well.
Exactly.
But I just.
And the thing is, we're Arsenal. You know, these men, our owners, Kroenke and them, they're not gonna splash the cash on every single position we're gonna need. We're gonna need, I think, in my opinion, a couple of central midfielders because I don't think we're gonna sign Daniel Ceballos.
We could sell Bellerin for 15 million. Get rid of him for
How
15
many?
million. I don't think I wouldn't spend. I think I would Lamptey. If we're gonna spend 30 million on Lamptey, yeah, I wouldn't spend 20 million on Bellerin. If I was a club, I wouldn't, because I don't think he's worth that. I don't think he's good enough.
But the thing is, we could probably sell him for 25, right?
If we could get him for 25, Jesus, then we've got to steal. We get that money and we invest. we get a Lamptey, and then we can get maybe a replacement left back, like a backup with that money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're a club that likes to spend what we've got. Do you know what I mean? If we keep the money in, I'm pretty sure we will be able to spend it in the, you know what I mean, in the positions we need. So that's the first thing I'll do: get rid of Bellerin and get the money in for him.
Okay, so I guess Zoom, you're not in agreement. Callum just checked the private chat. As we go to the next topic, Zoom, David Luiz. David Luiz is a guy who's been also been talked about a few since last season. He broke the record for the most penalties given away in a season. He got a few red cards here and there. This season, wrongly sent off for me against Wolves. So I think his contract is ending this season. So a few people want him gone totally. But this is another one I think Guna Express in the chat also agrees with me. I think David Luiz is not one of our worst defenders. I think he's one of our better centre-backs right now. So I would definitely give him a one-year contract and see how it goes from there. What did you do with David Luiz? Sell him? Let him go for free?
So I remember I saw the links about the one-year contract extension, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think part of the contract would mean we also sign him as a player coach, which sounds more. It sounds like an easier pill to swallow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think he is quite loved by the club. Remember when the rumors came out that him and Willian, probably started by Chelsea fans, but apparently that him and Willian were the cause of the dressing room unrest, and now it's clear to see, in my opinion, I think it's clear to see that it wasn't them. It was actually Sead Kolasinac and Shkodra Mustafi. David Luiz is a really nice guy, and he everybody who speaks about him in the interviews or when they question about him, it's teammates. They say the same thing. They say he's such an amazing guy. He has a lot of experience. Has a lot of good advice for the younger guys, and I think. Yeah, man. Imagine if we let go of David Luiz. Who's going to be our most experienced centre back? That's Pablo Mari at 26. Now, you can't. I don't think you can have a centre back at that age, and he hasn't had that many games at the club for us, or even in the Premier League. So, because of his experience, I understand if we bring him on as a player coach, that would be cool. I think, in my opinion, that's the only way I can really accept it. Or if we give him a one-year contract extension, but he's well and truly a squad player, rotation player. I think we need to bring back Saliba. We probably need to sign one young centre back. I think we have that Omareki guy, but he's for the under-23s. But I'd be honestly, sometimes David Luiz frustrates me, man. I don't know if he frustrates you, but sometimes I feel like he slows the game down way, like in the Benfica game. Callum was talking about it, and I think many Arsenal fans were saying the same thing. Our gameplay our passing was so slow, and it wasn't just because of Xhaka or Ceballos or Bellerin or them guys. I think David Luiz was a big part of that and has been doing that a bit more frequently than I'd like to see. But one-year contract extension, I think the only way I can accept is maybe player player coach, or 1 year contract extension as a squad player. He knows his place. He knows he can't compete. But then how does that affect his attitude towards the game? Is he going to be in the right 100% focus? Is he going to have that 100% focus? Is he going to be in the right mental space to play in high pressure moments when our starting centre backs get injured? That's a big question mark. So yeah.
For me, David Luiz, there's a time Holding got like a concussion a few weeks ago, and David Luiz was subbed in as the fourth sub. You know, when Luiz comes into a game, I actually kind of feel more confident in terms of creativity. I feel like in some games is one of our better creative players in the team, in the game, like with his long passes, and also when we have corners and free kicks. I feel like he can do something in the opposition box. I think he's got 2 or 3 goals this season so far, Europa League and League as well. Defensively, I feel like the referees are on to him every single time because they're used to him getting the red cards and making fouls. So anytime he does something small, they give him a red card, even though it's not a red card. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Callum, what did you do with David Luiz? He's been playing well recently. I think one of our better defenders this year. So would you give him a new contract or look for another defender?
It's a catch-22 that one, because I think he's had a better season this year, but he's one of them players that he does slow the game down a lot, and he's like you said, very frustrating. So, but then on the other hand, he's a leader in the dressing room. Do you know what I mean? And next season, it looks like we might have 2 young centre backs coming back, Mavropanos and Saliba. So, if we have like an experienced head in there, like Luiz, he might be able to help the match. I mean, help them settle a bit more. Do you know what I mean? Give them a few pointers. Do you know what I mean? To improve their game, because I know David Luiz has a very good football brain. I just think his body, or he's just physically not up to what he used to be able to do anymore. So, if it's like in a coaching role, like a bit of a coaching role, I'll take it. But not as a player. I don't think he's good enough. He hinders our team. Do you know what I mean? He should be off the pitch, I reckon, helping Arteta in different ways. My opinion.
Ashton says in December we had 7 centre backs either on loan or not registered or in 25-man squad. 3 young more centre backs on loan, 10 centre backs. What are we doing with all these centre backs though? And literally, like only one of them is good. Literally, don't think Mavropanos is good enough. I've not seen. Okay, Saliba could be. Holding, as Callum always says, I don't think he's good enough. Pablo Mari is okay. I think he's okay. Gabriel just needs to improve a bit more. He's probably player of the season if you look at it as a whole. So what are we doing with all these defenders? What would you do with all these defenders? Obviously, Socrates and Mustafi have gone.
Yeah. I'd bring back Mavropanos, see what he's about, because I hear from the latest reports is that he's been playing well in a very poor side in Germany. Is it Stuttgart, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think one of those teams. Yeah, I think he was on a different team last time.
And then, I think it's Stuttgart. And I think William Saliba still has a lot to prove. We can't bank on a top 4 challenge for next season on William Saliba. He's got to be brought into the squad more slowly. But Pablo Mari is interesting because I think he brings so much calm to our defense.
Yeah.
He's almost Mertesacker-esque. You know what I mean? And I think in terms of our build-up, in terms of interceptions, he's quite solid. Obviously, the goal that we conceded versus Leicester didn't look too good on the whole of the defense. But in my opinion, for that particular moment, he was being kept busy by Vardy's run, and David Luiz was coming down, and he could see the whole play. David Luiz was also just as equally at fault as El Neni or Pablo Mari or even Xhaka, because he didn't communicate with Pablo Mari to go out to Tielemans and block the shot and just narrow the angle a bit, because it was just a little too late. It's almost like everybody was just a bit of a bystander. But I think Callum Chambers, is he good enough to maybe at least be a squad player? Rob Holding, in my opinion, I don't think he's not good enough.
Absolutely not. I don't care that Chambers can play in 8 different positions. He's so injury prone. He's so slow. He's too slow. I think he's one of our slowest defenders. I think Socrates is quicker than him. Although he did play well in the right
No,
back position, I think Chambers is too slow. I mean, the
I
strength of
think.
him, I don't think he has enough strength for the Premier League.
Come on, guys, we're being a bit harsh. Callum Chambers has
Yes.
a bit more pace to him. He can play at right back, remember? And he was actually at some point better bombing forward than your Bellerin.
Yeah, he was.
Remember that, Callum? Yeah,
Remember
just
when we
before the
played
injury.
Chelsea? When we played Chelsea, he
Yeah,
was banging it.
he scored a goal with the
Chambers.
outside of his foot. There was another chance when he was playing at right back. He came off the volley, and it was like very, very close to a top bins finish. But we have a lot of centre backs. You guys are right, and I think we need five to maximum six solid centre backs
Yeah.
to go into the season because I don't know. I mean, David Luiz is let's try and make sense of it all. From David Luiz, Saliba, Gabriel, Pablo Mari, uh, Callum Chambers, Rob Holding, Mavropanos. That's seven
Mm.
centre backs. Which ones do you keep? Pick five.
Pick five. Oh.
Pick five out of those
Definitely,
seven.
I'd give Luis a 1 year contract. I'd keep Pablo Mari and Gabriel definitely. I'd keep Holding as a bench player to come in when we have injuries and stuff. And then the fifth one will probably be, well, such a hard one. Chambers is gone for me. Mavropanos is also gone for me. Who was the seventh one?
So that means you're gonna stay with Pablo Mari, David Luiz, Gabriel,
Holding.
Rob Holding, and
Yeah.
finally Saliba.
And Saliba. That's the one. Yeah, I'd keep Saliba. I'd probably get one more and sell one of and loan out one of those again. And
Okay,
keep
if
five.
I told you to pick six now out of those seven, are you
Mm.
still selling Callum Chambers and Mavropanos and signing a new centre back?
No, I'd obviously, if you ask me to keep six, the sixth one would be Chambers, and not Mavropanos. Mavropanos would be the first one to go for me. But if I'd probably sell both of them and even rather play Saka as a centre back. I don't like any of those guys. I don't like.
What would you do,
You remember-
Callum? What would you do, Callum?
It'd be Gabriel Mari. I would keep Mavropanos, just because of what he's done like I said, in the pause. He's played decent. Fair enough. I don't think will play to Arteta how the Arteta likes to play, likes a centre back to play, a ball playing centre back. I don't really think he's that, but maybe he could be coached. I mean, he's quite young, so
Yeah.
I would have him. Chambers, I like Chambers, Callum Chambers. I've liked him. He's just been a bit injury prone. I honestly think he.
Is it because he's English?
I was just about to say that. This guy you just about to say that. Is it because
Callum.
he's English?
Got my name. Callum's got to look out for each other.
All right, Callum Union.
Callum Union. Yeah. But I don't know. Honestly, I really do think he.
That was a bad joke. Sorry.
It's cool. No,
That was so bad.
I was thinking about the same thing, exact same thing. Is it because he's English?
Oh,
Because the English media always say English players are good because they are English. So
I don't think he sets the world alight, but I think he can do a job. Joey, he did decent before he got injured. I thought. I mean, he was in the team and he was actually playing well right back. He actually could cross the ball. He was actually bombing down the wing, even though he's not as fast as Bellerin. But he was bombing down the wings and he was crossing some decent balls. Do you know what I mean? What I remember anyway. So
Yeah.
I'd keep and see what he does. Give him a chance. Do you know what I mean? We gave Bellerin a chance and he was piss poor. And we came back from a bad injury and we still played him and put him in the first team. So why not Chambers? Give him a chance. Do you know what I mean? So
Bro, I think we need to sell Bellerin to PSG. I think it's a good deal for both of us. And it's like we're sending Bellerin to where he really just wants to be, playing football in the heart of
Paris.
Fashion City.
Paris.
Yeah, Paris, bro. It's gonna be so good for his YouTube page. He's gonna love dressing weirdly there. I think it's gonna look normal. You know what I mean? I think he'd be quite happy, man. We'd love him. We'd be like, hey, Bellerin, we love you. Thank you so much for the good memories. But yeah, man, go be happy.
Haters everywhere. So the question, just yes or no, Zoom, would you give David Luiz a new contract, 1 year contract?
Yeah, I think with the caveat that maybe it's a more player coaching role, I'd be very interested in a player coaching role because I see what he brings off the pitch, and he's just. I mean, I really like him on FIFA, man.
Oh no, I don't.
Callum,
I do.
would you give Luiz a 1-year contract, Callum?
I'll do a player coach as well. I reckon. I think he does give a lot off the pitch, more than he does give on the pitch. I think. I think he can coach a lot of the young kids that we got, like Saliba, for example. So I'd play a coach, I think.
Okay, just briefly on one player before we get into Burnley versus Arsenal. Callum, you never told me we signed a new player in January who has the crossing ability of David Beckham, the passing accuracy of Xavi, the long pass accuracy of Xabi Alonso. I mean, this guy has everything. You did not tell me we signed a guy called Willian. Who is this guy who played against Leicester and Benfica, Callum? This guy was superb. This guy was absolutely perfect in those games.
That's 3 assists in 1 week, Callum.
I mean, De Bruyne numbers. De Bruyne numbers.
De Bruyne numbers, bro.
I think he just decided to play for Arsenal this week. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good shout. That's a good shout. Yeah.
I think he put on his shirt, woke up in the morning, was like, I'm an Arsenal player today. Do you know what I mean? I'm not Chelsea in disguise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
what do you think of his performance versus Leicester? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I honestly thought it was the Willian that I thought we signed. You know, the Willian of last season. The Willian, exactly. I'm thinking, where was this Willian all season? Because if he played that, Jesus, what would he have had? Do you know what I mean? We could have had better results. Do you know what I mean? A player like that. That's what I expect. Do you know what I mean? It just shows me that he was not bothered this season. He was not bothered. If he could just turn up like that and switch it on like that, where he looks like he had pace today. On the Leicester, sorry. I didn't even know Benfica. He had pace in the Leicester game. Where was that pace the whole season? I don't understand how he can...
That moment where he picked up the ball, he turned his man in midfield, dribbled past.
Yeah. What was that about? I was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I couldn't believe it.
It was Willian today, not Will.i.am. Do you know what I mean? Will.i.am all season, and Willian was like, he stuck double, took him out. I'll play today. So
I didn't see that run you're saying, Zoom, until I watched the game
I think I'll tell you. Let me just remind you. It was actually to the build-up, where it was in the build-up.
No, I remember it right now. Pepe. But I'm saying, like, when I was watching the game live, I didn't realize it's the one who gave the ball to Pepe. Only afterwards, I saw, wow, this guy went past 3 players. And he was doing very good. He ripped Tielemans apart. Tielemans got a yellow card in that game because of pulling him back. Like, I couldn't believe that was Willian. Probably one of the better player games. It's not just the assists.
Yeah, I think even not just the assist, just on that point, when Callum says he didn't look bothered throughout most of this season so far, it's because you didn't see him chasing down guys and really playing aggressive and really trying to win the ball. But I think just before he was subbed off, you could see him, if he was subbed off. I don't quite recall. I was doing something in the second half. But I remember seeing him specifically with his big hair going to press Peter Schmeichel from the halfway line. Yeah. And he just went and pressed him. And I was like, yes, exactly. That's what we need. Where was this intensity? Exactly. You know what I mean? So, exactly. So I'm happy with that. And the more it continues, the better. Because we're going to need to rely on these guys. Guys like Willian, guys like Pepe, who aren't going to start every week. But when we do need to rotate, like we will need to rotate versus Tottenham this coming weekend. Not tomorrow, but the weekend after. We're going to need to rotate when we play Olympiacos on Thursday. So we're going to need these guys to step up. And that's the only way we might have a shout for a European position. Not that I'm a fan of that.
Please don't say Benfica again. They gave me a heart attack for 2 weeks. I don't want to go anywhere near them. So it will be interesting to see the lineup we'll pick this weekend. So this weekend, Callum, it's Burnley against Arsenal. Surprisingly, you always say it's tough to go to Burnley, tough to go to Turf Moor. It's tough to face these guys. But surprisingly, we've won nearly all our games there. We've played really well in most of them. Some of the stats from the game are from Arsenal versus Burnley. We've played them 6 times. We've played them 5 times since 2015 at Turf Moor. They've won 0, we've drawn once, and we've won 4. They've only scored 1 goal, and we've scored 6 goals. Since 2016, in all competitions we've played against them home and away, we've scored 20 goals and they've scored 6. So Burnley against Arsenal, this is a game we always win. I remember Aubameyang clinching the golden boot against Burnley just before we went to Baku to play Chelsea. He should have had a hat-trick in that game, didn't score. So Callum, Burnley, away to Burnley. Are you confident for this game? I remember this day where Koscielny scored with his hand.
Oh yeah, God.
Uh,
Jeez.
Are you seeing another 1-0 victory? Are you seeing a more convincing one?
I expect us to win. I expect us to win, but you never know with this league. Do you know what I mean? I'm cautious with every game. Do you know what I mean? Don't care who it is. It could be some Sheffield United or it could be Man City. You don't know who could win. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes so I'm just hoping we can go there with a convincing. You know, we go how we played against Leicester, just batter them. You know what I mean? Just score a few goals, get a few of that confidence going into the Olympiacos game. Do you know what I mean? Because that's our season right there. That's the most important thing. So get some confidence and let's go into that game. That's what I think. So I reckon be maybe 2-0. Aubameyang, 2 goals, brace.
Yeah, I think we're going to be quite comfortable, man. We saw them versus Tottenham. They weren't very convincing. I mean, they made Tottenham look good. Remember what Roy Keane said when he was being asked if, he said anybody with that time, with that time and space could pick up the passes that Tottenham were doing, completing rather, versus Burnley, and they just looked piss poor, man. And the thing is, this is a funny stat. Well, first of all, we know that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang he scored the most goals in his Premier League career versus Burnley. He scored 7, more than any other team. But apparently, he's also Burnley's 5th joint top scorer with that own goal versus Arsenal. So I'm not. That's not a joke. That is a stat. Okay, I might be taking the piss, which is accurate. Yeah. I am taking the piss, but I think we're going to be very comfortable, man. They're not facing the same disjointed Arsenal attack that they faced back then, and we played with a red card. I really don't see us losing. I mean, in Kenya, Callum, people say Ogopa early kickoff, so which means be afraid of the early kickoff, and that's our game tomorrow. But I think tomorrow early kickoff needs to be afraid of us. So yeah, I'm seeing a very comfortable win, man. Apparently, if these guys have only won once in their last 8 Premier League games, drawing 4 and losing 3.
Let's not hope we're not the fourth.
Yeah,
we're not the losing one. They don't win.
Two seasons ago, Aubameyang did that. I don't know. Do you have that kit, Callum?
I actually do. I've got every kit.
I also didn't have it, so I also didn't like it. So he did the business for us that time. So for their record this season, Burnley, they haven't been that good. To be fair, they haven't been that good. Let me just go quickly through their stats. They're 15th right now. They've won 7 games. They've drawn 8. They've lost 12. They're currently on 29 points. They've scored 19 goals. They've conceded 35. They're on a negative 16. At home this season, they've lost to the obvious teams you'd expect them to lose to: Chelsea, Tottenham, City, United. They've beaten the likes of Wolves and I think Villa at home as well. So obviously, I was with a Burnley fan yesterday and I asked him, what is your style of play? If I want to support Burnley today, I would ask you, what is your style of play? And they literally said, if you want good football, just don't support Burnley because you're a long ball team. That's what he said, long ball team. And that's what they do, Callum. Yes, Arsenal have the better, at best, I think, defensive record from set pieces. Although recently, Zoom, we've considered against Leeds from a corner. We've considered against Everton from a corner. That Aubameyang goal you mentioned was from a corner, that own goal. So how do we deal with their corners and free kicks, though?
I think we just do more of the same. I think at some point you will concede a corner. You will concede from a set piece. But the fact that we're up there in terms of set piece, defensive organization, and just overall not conceding as many goals as other defenses, I think it's a credit to Arteta and his coaching staff and the players and Bernd Leno as well. So I think we shouldn't set up in any special way, so to speak. The players just need to be switched on, and organization. I mean, I think there was a really nice clip of Bernd Leno with all these call-outs, essentially his highlights with the mic. I think he was kind of mic'd up, and you could see as soon as we conceded a corner, it'd be like, okay, take your positions, organization, corner. You know what I mean? Just concentrate.
Yeah.
And players.
Just refreshing watching that.
Exactly. It only takes one player to have a lapse in concentration for us to concede a goal. Remember Aubameyang laughing with a player he was marking, and then the guy.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was
He did it on
actually
purpose.
Tyrone Mings. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tyrone Mings. So
Yeah.
we can't afford to have anything akin to that. But
Yeah.
I think we need to start with our strongest squad. I don't think we should rotate. We've had a week off. I think Thomas Partey should start. I want to see
Okay, just give
Saka
me a
back in the
starting
squad.
lineup. Give me the starting
Oh, okay.
lineup
Yeah,
you'd
okay.
have.
Let me go ahead. Sorry, did I jump the gun there a little bit? Maybe.
Yeah, you did.
So
Yeah, it was supposed to be the last thing.
okay.
But okay.
All right. Bernd Leno. At right back, Cedric. I choose Cedric. Yes. David Luiz and Gabriel. Those are, in my opinion, our two most. In terms of organization, they're Brazilian. There's a synergy there, but also defensively, they can really tough it out. So can Rob Holding, but we're gonna need that build up of David Luiz's. He does slow it down a lot, but he does help in build up. At left back, obviously KT, Granit Xhaka, the perfect midfield partner for Thomas Partey, and number 10, Martin Odegaard on the left. I think on the left is where I need to make a decision because there's not going to be Emil Smith Rowe. It's either Pepe or Willian. I think I choose to give Pepe. We paid more for him. And on the right, Bukayo Saka, and up front, Aubameyang.
Okay, Callum, surely it's very harsh to drop the likes of Willian after such a good performance. What would you be your starting lineup?
Obviously Leno in goal. Right back up with Cedric because I think he does a better job than Bellerin anyway. But I'll put Gabriel and David Luiz in the two centre back roles. Left back, obviously Kieran Tierney. The two centre midfielders partners it'd have to be Xhaka. I know it's grit my teeth, but it'd have to be Xhaka and Partey next to him. Odegaard in the 10. On the right, obviously Saka. On the left, it's weird because I don't think he would play Pepe. I know it's obviously mine, but because Pepe, he lacks a right-footed player on the left, so he clearly could bomb down the wings. I think he'll play Willian on the on that side. So, but I'll prefer Pepe. I'll play Pepe personally. I'll prefer Pepe, but he'd probably play Willian and Aubameyang up top, or Martinelli, or even Aubameyang on the left and Martinelli up top. I'll play Martinelli. Maybe
that's not happening. Come on, Callum. That's not realistic.
It's not realistic, but I'll what I would do.
Burnley away, Callum. Burnley away. Martinelli. Yeah. Burnley, physical Burnley.
I think Martinelli has.
Martinelli could hack it.
Martinelli has the attributes of Lacazette and it can score like a bomber. So honestly, I think he's been away for a while from the first team, not playing.
Yeah.
Put him in, give him a few minutes in this game. Do you know what I mean? Give him a few minutes. He's not doing well. Take him off. Do you know what I mean? Put Aubameyang up top and then put either Pepe on the left or Willian or whatever. But I honestly would try him up front for 30 minutes. Until the first half, maybe. I don't know. So yeah,
I was really tempted to put if we didn't have a Europa League match, I would have started both Aubameyang and Lacazette. But I'd go with Leno, Cedric, Luiz, Mari, and Tierney. Then obviously Xhaka, Partey, and Odegaard. That's because I think Smith Rowe is injured as well. Then Saka on the right and Pepe on the left. They could rotate any time. Last week when the squad came out and Pepe was on the right, people are like, why is Pepe starting on the right? That it had a reason clearly. And Aubameyang up front, and then obviously the bench, the likes of Willian will come on later on. I really hope we get the goals early on because recently I've seen us starting games very, very poorly. I was just saying on another podcast the other day that Arsenal have considered the least number of goals alongside Manchester City in the second half of games. And that is because we consider every single one of our goals in the first 10 minutes, and then we go 1-0 down and then we have to work. So, yeah, we never concede goals in the second half. We actually do score most of our goals in the second half, but yeah, that's something we need to work on. So that's the lineup. Just a few games I remember for Burnley. There was this one where Sanchez scored the last-minute penalty. He did very well. He always did very well in every single away game. A couple of years before that, Ramsey also got a winner for us. All those games we won 1-0. There was also that Koscielny one with the hand, as I said, also won 1-0 as well in that one. All those kits, I miss all those kits. And also the most legendary one was when Wenger was retiring and we played them at home. In none of those games, Aubameyang scored his first few goals for Arsenal. So it's going to be very interesting. So prediction for the game, Callum. You say 2-0?
Yeah, I think 2-0. Aubameyang brace. I think he's goal scoring, form again. It looks like. Do you know what I mean? He's starting to score multiple goals in games now. So I think it's going to continue. Well, he's Spain the form now. So brace from him.
Yeah, he needs to get a third one to repay the own goal he scored last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 4-0 win.
Yeah. Oh, that's easy. Who will score?
Yeah, maybe an Aubameyang hat-trick. And I see Odegaard getting his first goal for the club.
I see William getting his first goal for the club. I really want him to score very, very badly. So I'm going to go for I'm going to go for 3-1. I think they'll score from a corner or a free kick. I don't think we can handle it. Those Wood, me, Tarkowski, I don't think we'll handle it well. So 3-1, Aubameyang, Saka, and Willian. I just found this picture of Mustafi. Jesus Christ, this guy's a comedian. This was one of the games against Burnley a few years ago. Which kind of jump is that? Only Mustafi can do that. So what a funny guy this guy is. But yeah, those would be my 3 goal scorers. A few comments before we end it. Let me see. Zoom going to answered your question by saying Luiz, Mari, Gabriel, Saliba, and Mavropanos. He also said Stuttgart had a good season, so Mavro must have the same impact. Callum, you do realize that Luiz is our best centre back. You agree? Disagree?
Right this season, I think he probably is one of our best, like in form. Not as a player, but in form-wise, he has been better because obviously Gabriel was good at the beginning, had a stint. Do you know what I mean? So I maybe agree with that. I don't think he's a better player than Gabriel, but I think he's form-wise been better.
The usual comments you'd expect on an Arsenal podcast at it out. As Steven says, still think Arsenal will win Champions League in 3 years. Yes. Trust me, we are not. Last time we had a manager this bad, we sacked him and got you. Just keep waiting. Just keep waiting for that magic. Keep on being patient. Carl Harrigan says he does slow it down. I think that's our Luiz Zoom. But sometimes that's a good thing when we are winning. But when we are losing against a low block team, it takes so long with the ball. The process of qualifying for the UEFA Conference League. The process we've been into since 2004. You're now going to the Conference League. We'll finish in the top 6, as I said last week. So, yeah, that's it for this week. I've gone for 3-1. Zoom has gone for 4-0. I'd love that tomorrow. Next week, we'll have a guest on as well for the Olympiacos game. I hope you'd have won that game on Thursday. So, as usual, Zoom, where can they follow you?
Just the usual ads, Zoom Omar, the way it's written down there in the banner. On IG and on Twitter, would appreciate a follow, and also on the Nearly Footballers podcast. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Callum, Instagram.
I'm Callum Cushney. Just that, and Harms and Gisha on YouTube. So
you need to join Twitter just for Arsenal. No, not for anything else. No, not everyone is a Twitter person, but just for Arsenal.
I don't know if it'll get me too angry, but
bro, Callum, if you don't have a Twitter account by next week, you're letting yourself down.
I'll look into it.
Come on, man. You've got to get a Twitter account. Trust.
Yeah. Callum, get a Twitter account. That's the next
thing.
Get
a Twitter account.
Yeah. But thanks for the comments, everyone. I think this is like the 10th show we've done. Time flies, man. Time flies. So always appreciate it. Make sure you follow Zuhom on Twitter. Make sure you follow Callum on Instagram. Thank you for watching. Let's hope we win our game tomorrow, the early kickoff. Thanks for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.